Hello, welcome to this really quick video about the James tone stack. That is the EQ section that is included in the Ampeg B15NF preamp circuit that if you've been watching all the rest of these videos, you've seen you know what's going on here. This is the amplifier, the Ampeg B15NF, that the preamp section of that amplifier is what I used to create the tube preamp that you see in the rest of these videos. Something to know about the James tone stack is that it is a passive circuit, so there is a reduction in decibels that needs to be made up with in this particular circuit, the gain of the second half of the 12AX7. So actually, no, sorry, it is the first half of the 12AX7 in this particular circuit. In other B15 circuits, the tone stack is first, and then that feeds into the gain stage. So in this particular build, the B15NF, it's gain first, and then that pushes into the tone stack. So it's passive, so you need to make up some gain because there is an inherent reduction in decibels. Another thing to know about the James tone stack is, from what I understand, it differs from the Bandaxol circuit, because the Bandaxol circuit, if I'm even saying that correctly, is it runs off of the negative feedback of an amplifier, and this one doesn't. This is just a passive circuit. And another thing to know about this is that it has bass and treble. This particular one has bass and treble only. There is no mid control, but the cool thing about this circuit is, with the bass and treble knobs alone, you can create a mid scoop or a mid hump depending on how you set the bass and treble controls. So you do actually have sort of control over the mid-range and how that sits in relation to the bass and the treble frequencies. So you really do kind of have control over the mids here, in a sense, okay? And I'll go over that in a second here. So this circuit is different from the bass mid treble tone stack of a Fender amplifier, which, from what I understand, has a like a built-in mid scoop because of how mid-rangey guitars are. They built in the mid scoop and then put the mid control into the circuit to boost, or because I don't know if that, I'm not sure if that circuit is passive or an active circuit which creates boost, but I think it is passive, so you can only cut. So keep that in mind too. Passive circuit, you can't boost, you can only cut. So again, any change in bass and treble, if you cut to make up the gain, you would have to add gain from in this circuit from the previous stage. So let's talk about what happens if both the bass and treble are at maximum. Okay, this is bass and treble at max, and I wanted to give props to where I got this information. The discussion about this James tone stack, there is some seriously detailed information about that at ampbooks.com, and I will put a link in the description with that takes you straight to the discussion about the James tone stack. All right, they use different values in the circuit than what I have. So I think theirs is based off of an orange amplifier, and of course, again, mine is based off of the Ampeg B15NF. So whatever that was. So just knowing that, bass and treble at max. This is just this is about what the Ampeg circuit is going to look like. It's not going to be exact. This is more like what ampbooks.com has based on their circuit. But the idea is the same. This is the concept of how you can affect the mids. Okay, so the this axis here is the decibels, like how loud it is. So this is 0, this is -20, and again, sorry, bass and treble at max. And this is 10 hertz to 10 kilohertz. Okay, you're gonna see a the mids are gonna sit right around -16 decibels, right around 234 hertz. So right about here is where that is. Okay, so you can see that without any bass or mids cut, this is everything at max. It looks like a nice mid-scooped, frequency response here for the circuit. And that's what's called a mid-scoop, because it looks like someone came along and whoosh, scooped out the mids. Okay, so you got that there. Then if you take it to the bass and treble at minimum, now that you can see this changed to 0 to 50 decibels, right? And then you can see right where the mids are at their maximum here is about at -22 decibels, and at about 123 hertz. So it moves a little bit to the left and down just a little bit as well. Okay, but you can see now the bass drops down to a little bit below 30, maybe around 33 or so, and then it slopes down. The highs will slope down until they completely drop off at 10 kilohertz. Okay, so you can see here now we've created a mid hump, but it's way below the 5 decibel drop of the bass and treble whenever they were at max. We're just grabbing the bass and treble and going zoop and dropping those down, but the mids stay about the same. So we're so we're affecting the curve and how the curve looks. So we've made a mid hump here that then all you'd have to do to get this raised up is to just move the gain up, So then you'd have, a cut bass probably around, I don't know, say maybe 20 or so. I'm just guessing here. And then, who knows, then the highs would cut off somewhere around, 35 or 40 or something like, 30, 35, 40. So all you'd be doing is taking this same curve and moving it up by adding gain. So what you do is, if you wanted a mid hump, you would lower your bass and or treble, boom, create that hump like this, and then boost the gain whoosh, like this. So in effect, you're going, if you wanted a mid scoop, you would boost the highs and lows, and you'd have a mid scoop, or anywhere in between, and then you could raise it up and down with your gain. Or if you go into if you cut and you start getting that mid hump, then wherever you want that, wherever your highs or lows are set, then you would just raise your gain to make up for the attenuation of the bass and the treble, because that mid is going to sit about in the same spot. So hopefully that makes sense, and how amazing the James Tone stack is. You get, oh, you know what? I do apologize. I think the bass mid treble tone stacks in Fender amplifiers, because they have that built-in scoop, I'm not even sure. I would imagine you probably could get a flat frequency response, but I'm not sure. But I know with this one, I think with everything set at, like, you know, with the bass and treble set at 0, you can get like a really flat, you know, EQ curve. So there's how I understand the James Tone Stack to work and why this circuit sounds so amazing. And I can't wait to do some sound recordings of the preamp because I tested it. It sounds great, and I will share those as soon as I get around to it. Okay, thank you.